What are the top red flag responses you've received from potential candidates that are an instant rejection? Some people enter an interview hoping to get hired. The people in these stories entered to help the hiring manager reach a decision immediately.
Yeah, boy.
During a remote first-round interview, they would pause after every question and read it back to us. You could hear them typing it. They would then respond with a very generic response that was long-winded. Obviously, they were using ChatGPT to respond to each question.
That's hilarious that they even think they could get away with that.
Could have worked if they had a hidden teammate typing it for them so the answer would be instant. But yeah, can't figure any question in an interview being too hard to come up with a decent answer by yourself.
I interviewed a young man once for an entry-level retail job. I asked him why he left his previous job at McDonald's, and his response was, I was working the drive through a window and I had to take a shit. So I went to the bathroom. When the drive-thru got backed up, I heard the manager yelling, "Where's Chris?" So I hollered, "I'm in the bathroom taking a shit." Andy, they fired me for that. Can you believe it?
Chris is a legend.
At least he had the forethought to go to the restroom first. He saw. So I went to the bathroom and thought it was going to be that he squatted down right there at the drive-thru window.
Kept talking about how he shit himself his last job and people made fun of him. Over and over again, this anecdote came up. It was weird. Called me afterwards demanding I hire him and then got angry at my "I don't think you're a good fit" response.
Oh my God.
Sorry, man. I just don't think you're a good shit for the Joe fit. I meant fit.
Had an applicant for a junior role put his feet on the desk and say, "Let's talk about my salary," toward the beginning of his interview. That candidate did not make it past that interview. There's a difference between self-confidence and totally tone deaf.
We interviewed a guy who had a great CV and boldly and confidently claimed to know all about several areas we are interested in. When asked to explain how he'd solved the problem, the answer was, "Well, we buy this box that does it." Like, dude, we're the guys that make the box. That's the job.
Inability to admit they don't know something. I mean, it's quite common. We don't know everything. If I ask, how do you fix X, and you don't know, I'll Google it is the correct answer.
Oh my God! Wow!
Actually had that in an IT job interview. Had to take an online test. Ran into a problem I couldn't figure out. Checked the instructions and they didn't say anything about research. So I opened a new tab and Googled it. Turned out that was the correct answer.
What am I gonna do?
I apologize, this doesn't really answer the question, but I used to interview college students for an internship work-study position in a university admin office. None of them had any relevant experience, so we just tried to get to know them and diagnose whether they can arrive on time, look presentable, and be respectful to visitors. I liked to ask for a few words other people might use to describe them. One student said, "dark, mysterious, and dangerous," and I noped the hell out of that one.
I'm imagining the WoW player from South Park.
My buddy did the same shit and was mortified. He was nervous after his first out-of-college interview, and he answered, "driven, aggressive, and dominating." He realized as it left his mouth that it was not conveying the idea he had in his head, but was too late. He was going for like a go-getter, take problems by the horn attitude, not like a predator.
I had someone once and their employment history was like 3 months here, 3 months there, etc. So I asked them why they left those jobs, and every single time it was, "The manager hates me," or "I didn't get along with the manager."
Are you serious, my brother?
I had a coworker who absolutely could not get along with anyone. She vented one day about one of her previous jobs and then another day about another job. I put it together in my head and she didn't get along with the boss at her for previous jobs. Well, she didn't get along at that job either.
What the hell?
When I was about 14 to 15-ish, my dad kinda pushed me to apply for a translating job at Sega Good English. I needed a CV to apply, so my dad helped me make one. He told me to put my favorite games on my resume, and my dumbass not only agreed, but answered honestly. Without a single Sega game on the top 5 list I made, this man is an HR manager of 20 years.
Oh!
Listing every single accomplishment from high school and or middle school when you've been out of high school for 10 plus years. Had a guy list every part he got in a musical play, sports he played with scores, clubs he was a part of, etc. All of these dated from at least elementary school on. The man was 50 plus. The job had nothing to do with any of these items.
In college, I had a summer job working as an office assistant, and for the first few days all I did was pull files and shred old resume. One guy listed every single thing he could do that could possibly count as a clerical skill. He even mentioned stapling.
Damn!
once had a guy submit a resume saying that he could not work with women or speak to any woman due to religious reasons. I'm all for being tolerant of other people's beliefs, but this was for a customer service job. If you can't interact with women at all, then maybe this wasn't the kind of job you should have been applying for.
Why are you crying?
And somehow, every one of these candidates managed to answer the most important interview question without being asked, should we hire you? Absolutely not. Which one was the biggest red flag? Let me know in the comments.
What's the best petty revenge you have had on an annoying neighbor? Some neighbors test your patience. Others accidentally start a war. From parking battles to perfectly timed payback. These stories prove that revenge doesn't have to be big to be unforgettable, and the last one is pure genius.
My sister was putting up a shed that was totally compliant with all the local rules, no planning permission needed, etc. Her neighbor reported her without speaking to her first or anything. Council sent someone out who confirmed that the shed was totally fine. But on the visit noticed that the neighbor had a shed that violated the rules. As well as an odd boundary line, neighbor had to rectify their shed, and my sister gained a few extra inches of garden after looking into it and finding out that the neighbor had put the fence too far over.
Whoa, that is karma at its finest.
The council hit the neighbor with the no reverse lol, love that.
Neighbor used to kick off all the time about parking outside his house, on street parking. Heard him going off at my missus one day, so I run out there and he legged it in his house and started shouting out the window at me. So I went and bought a proper pile of shit car for $300, taxed and insured it, and left it there for the 6 months until I moved. Cost me about 60 quid a month, but honestly it was worth it. Was in part the missus' idea. My plan was less petty.
Got it!
This is the level of revenge I was hoping for. 10/10 solution.
Yeah, boy. That is absolutely outstanding. Well played.
Old neighbor would make an absolute racket all hours of the night. I had about 3 hours sleep one night. When I left for work that morning, I put my speakers on full blast next to the wall, blasting heavy metal music, and went to the office for 8 hours.
I'd worried I would come home to my door broken down.
I had similar neighbors, music pumping till dumb o'clock in the morning near every day, stuck a 12 hours YouTube video of the TNMT theme, and off to work.
Neighbor moved in with their uncontrolled little yappy dog and left their back door open, so it was literally every 10 to 15 minutes of high-pitched yapping, recorded the yapping and played back at full volume on the Sonos aimed at their door. No more yappy dog at all times.
I was kept awake every night when working constant morning shifts by one ash out of a neighbor. His answer, when addressed over it, was a ridiculous attitude and quite proudly saying it ain't my problem. I don't have to get up for work. Coming from a 20-something-year-old, my answer the following morning was to get up a little earlier, 4 a.m. instead of 5, and to point my lovely new speakers at the adjoining wall, crank the amplifier to 1 short of max to ensure stability for the maximum length of time possible, and put on repeat. Offspring 112 for his lettery job. Return home to a very apologetic neighbor, who I reminded had been doing the equivalent to me for over a week. With zero remorse, I did the same the following day and came home to a sniveling, broken down mess, apologizing profusely and promising that it would never happen again.
Oh my God! Wow!
I have a former colleague who brought roaches into the office where we worked so that the owner would be forced to let everyone work from home. At the time, he would only let certain people work from home and not others, all based on favoritism. Some people had to drive hours to get there, and the pay was barely above minimum wage. I was one of the 1 people who could work from home, and I only lived 3 miles away. The company had exterminators out over and over again, and nothing would work. Her plan succeeded.
Wow. Taking notes!
Oh wow, that's intense. The place I worked had tons of computer and network equipment. Primera de no idea.
No allocated spaces, it was a free-for-all. Fine by me. Next door neighbor threatening anytime someone is in his space. I parked there and he ranted at me that he needed it for his disability. The space he was actually in was the very next parking bay, so absolutely no further distance from his house. I suggested he go to the council to get a disabled bay put in. I could have also done the same, but I knew I was going to be moving house and couldn't be arsed waiting for council to sort it out, so I let him go through faff and expense. Several months later, council puts in a disabled bay and I continue to park there, but with my disabled badge on display, and he could do nothing about it. He fumed every single day till I finally moved out 2 months later.
That were bloody diabolical.
That's brilliant. I actually cackled.
We had someone who would constantly park their camper next to our kitchen window. Was irritating. Cut out loads of light. We asked them to move it. They refused, stated they had the right to their holiday. We asked if they'd move it, so it wasn't so dark in the house we lived in, as that was our right, so that was the dark time where they would move it round once a week, annoying all the other fricking neighbors. At the time I was on a bit of an anti-snail and slug kick in my little garden, so I'd creep round after it rained with a torch and collect all I could find. Which after a week was a good-sized ice cream tub full of slugs and snails, and one night I noticed the camper people had left their roof light open, so I spent some time winging snails and slug into the gap, and on the roof. There was a lot of noise a few days later, and we never saw the campervan again, and they both look in other directions when they see me and my husband coming.
I do this, but only at night, because the neighbor is a bit mad.
Now it's your turn. What's the pettiest revenge you've ever taken on an annoying neighbor? Drop your story in the comments. The more ridiculous, the better.